Hey, what's going on, guys? Realm Gaming here, back into the video. Today's episode, we're just going to quickly talk about the DPS rotation for a Holy Priest and a Mythic Plus environment. So there's a few things that you got to be worried about as a Holy Priest and Mythic Plus. And the first things you want to kind of be worried about, probably the main thing that you want to be focused on, is your Holy Fire spell. So Holy Fire, if we look in the top right-hand corner, we're going to have 3 or 4 talent nodes that kind of synergize around Holy Fire. So the first one here doesn't directly benefit Holy Fire, but as we go a little bit further down the nodes, you'll see how Holy Fire kind of works into it. So the first one here, Holy Word Chastise, 15,000 mana, 1 minute cooldown. This is going to stun the target for 4 seconds, and this is going to do looks like about 200,000 holy damage. It's an instant cast. There's no channel or anything like that. You just press it and it happens. Now this is really your only form of interrupt, but to be honest, I don't even use it as an interrupt just because it's just better to just use it for damage, in my opinion. So this spell by itself isn't super great for damage. However, if we do go down one more node here, we have a talent here called Imperial Blaze. So Holy Word Chastise causes your next 2 casts of Holy Fire to be instant, cost no mana, and incur no cooldown. Then refreshing Holy Fire on a target now extends its duration by 7 seconds. Now the bottom portion of this isn't super strong. The dot from Holy Fire that's applied isn't super powerful, so we're going to be more focused on the top half of this. So basically what Imperial Blaze here is, it's taking our Holy Fire spell, it's going to turn it into an instant cast spell, and it's also not going to have a cooldown associated with it. So you can just kind of spam it, you know, just like any sort of instant cast spell, something like Shadow Word Pain, for example. You just spam it back to back, which is really nice. It's great for a lot of burst damage. And it's really good in a Mythic Plus environment because you can quickly get your damage out and then you kind of focus on healing. So the next portion of this is going to be Burning Vehemence. So increases the damage of your Holy Fire by 30%. Holy Fire deals 75% of its initial damage to all nearby enemies within 12 yards of your targets. Damage is reduced beyond 5 targets. So this spell is going to beef up our Holy Fire, and it's also going to turn it into an AoE spell. So what we've done is we made a small macro, which I will put in the description of the video, that very easily lets us do all this in one button press, right? So the important part, and I guess kind of the trick of all this, is you really want to be casting, I guess we'll go over these dummies over here, it's a little quieter. You want to be casting Holy Fire first, because if we remember through our talents, we get a reset on the cooldown from Holy Fire after we cast Holy Word Chastise, right? So you want to be getting a free Holy Fire in, right? And you can see I have it bound to my R button. So this is all in one, there's just one macro. It's one button. It's not like I'm pressing multiple things here. I'm just spamming my R key, right? So Holy Fire into a Chastise, into 2 instant cast Holy Fires. And you can see on the damage meters, I was bursting over 1,000,000 DPS burst. The best part about this is it's all in one button. There's no thinking required for it. I don't have to remember to press Holy Fire before I press Chastise, or I miss out on that reset, right? So let's take a quick look at the macro here and kind of what it looks like. So we have a macro here called Holy Fire. It's on a cast sequence, which just basically means is you will go through each spell, Holy Fire, Chastise, Holy Fire, Holy Fire, and then it will reset in the sequence back up here to Holy Fire. Now we also have this on a reset of 10. So what this means is if you go 10 seconds without pressing, you know, whatever keybind this macro is assigned to, it will reset the whole sequence. So you can change this to whatever you want. It doesn't have to be 10 seconds. That's just what I use. So what that means is if I press Holy Fire into a Chastise and I take my hands off the keyboard for 10 seconds, it will then reset back to Holy Fire over here. Now you do want to make sure that is at least probably like 4 or 5 seconds, because if it's just 1 second, you won't even be able to get through the global, and it will just like automatically reset itself every single time after every spell cast. So make sure this is at least like 4 or 5 seconds. So that is the one button Holy Fire macro that we kind of came up with on this channel. We do have something else here as well through Holy Nova, and it's going to be a big way that you do some of your AoE damage. So we do have Holy Nova. If you're not familiar with what it is, basically you just press it. It does AoE damage to enemies and AoE healing to your allies. It's a very small amount, but we do have something up here in the top right called Rhapsody that is stacking up. And this is a talent, and at 20 stacks, this becomes a pretty strong spell. So let's just quickly take a look at the talent here. Rhapsody, every 1 second, the damage of your next Holy Nova is increased by 20%. and its healing is increased by 20%, stacking up to 20 times. So what you want to be doing, just in addition to your holy fire macro over here, you're gonna make sure that when you do get to 20 stacks of Rhapsody, I believe in combat it will glow for you. Let's take a look. I believe it will glow. Yeah, there we go. Now it's glowing for us. And when that glows, basically just press it. You'll consume the 20 stacks. They'll do a whole bunch of burst damage. And that'll be another great way to do some AoE damage. Outside of that, there's not too much you're really worried about from a damage standpoint. We do have our Divine Star, which will do a little bit of damage. So you want to make sure that you are using that on cooldown. And then we also, of course, on single target bosses where we just like 1 or 2 mobs, there's not much going on, not much healing going out. You can throw in some smites. You can also throw up a few Shadow Word Pains if needed. All right, guys, that's it for this video. Thank you so much to my patrons, Juan1 and Distinger Jr. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. If you guys enjoyed the video, please consider liking, subscribing to the channel. See you on the next one.